Initiating moisture.
Welcome to the Moist Meter. Today we're looking at an anime that absolutely fucking slaps. It's called Demon Slayer. Even people who aren't fans of anime will find things to like about Demon Slayer and have probably heard of it because episode 19 was such a huge trend on the internet for a little while because of how beautiful the whole episode was. The entire show is that good. This season was made by a very talented studio called Ufotable, and even from episode 1, it was clear that they were coming with the condom off and nipple clamps on. A whole lot of work went into this season, and the passion really shows. The story revolves around a young man named Tanjiro, whose sister had been turned into a demon, and his whole family murdered by a demon, and now he's on a quest to turn her back into a human. And along the way, he becomes a demon slayer, fights all of these incredible demons with these really cool powers, meets a lot of really cool characters, and just overall, it'll have you smiling with a semi-chub in your pants. It is a show that doesn't really try and reinvent the wheel or anything like that. It's a very simple story you've seen a million times, but that doesn't take anything away from it. It still has its sad moments, it still has its characters that you really care about, and it's still just overall a really nice story, very well told. It's just nothing that you haven't seen before, and I'm totally fine with that. I don't think every story needs to be some type of landmark game changer that metaphysically challenges what we interpret to be storytelling as a whole. I love the story here in its simplicity and just how good all of the characters are in the story, and even how well some of the moments are executed. Even though you know what's coming, you know where things are going, it's still always fun to see it unfold. So I'm totally fine with the story being simple, and I see that as a complaint from a lot of people, but for me, I think it's a positive, because the storyline being the way it is sets up all of these really incredible moments with the characters, meeting enemies, humanizing some of the enemies, and it's just leading to some really unique exchanges and experiences. But by far the strongest part of this show is its visuals. My god, this show is beautiful. Even when characters are just talking or existing in this universe, it is so nice to look at. It has a very unique art style, and when there's action, it goes all in on animating it. And take, for example, One Punch Season 2. I mean, that shit is basically just a slideshow. Here, you get everything frame by frame. You get solid movement. You see the impact. It has some girth to it, some fucking meat on it. You feel the impact in its visuals, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. And especially that episode 19 fight that everyone talked about. They talked about it for a reason, because the whole thing is like your eyeballs' clitoris being stimulated for 30 straight minutes. It is just so nice to watch. And that's most episodes. When there is a fight, it's a treat. It is so fucking gorgeous. And that's very rare in anime these days, because a lot of the fights either rely on CGI to do the whole fight for them and it looks like straight asshole out of the PS2, or they do what One Punch Man Season 2 does, and they do basically a shaky cam and a still image to try and get the idea of a fight out there. And it's just garbage half the time. But here, a fight is something spectacular. Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not saying there's no CGI in Demon Slayer, because there absolutely is some CGI moments sprinkled throughout. However, it's not bad CGI. It's actually very good and very well done, with a lot of care put into it, so that way it doesn't suffer from what a lot of other anime suffer from when they use CGI, where it looks like trash, looks like straight asshole. Here, it complements the scenes pretty well and adds to them in some cases, so the CGI, when used, is not an issue in Demon Slayer, which is super nice, because almost 8 times out of 10, maybe 9 times out of 10, CGI just sucks shithole in anime. It really absolutely does. But not here, which is nice. Now, I do have a complaint about the season here, and it's just one specific thing that kind of constantly is there throughout the show. It's that when the characters have a certain trait or a quirk to them, they beat that shit to death. For example, one of the main characters, Zenitsu, his character trait is he's always afraid and crying and always yelling, screaming over the top. He also loves women's big anime titties, so anytime there's a woman on screen, he just melts down and goes ballistic. And yeah, it's cool the first couple of times it happens, but then you realize anytime Zenitsu's on screen, he's going to be doing that shit, just crying and screaming and going ballistic every single time he's on screen. After a while, it just gets so grating and tiresome. You just want a break from him being that embodiment of the trait. It's very rare where he is a badass, and there is moments where he has some badass shit with his thunder breathing, but you want more of him just being more mellow and more of just in line with the other characters instead of just this over-the-top committing to the personality quirk. And it's not just him. When they meet the other main characters, they all have their own personality trait. Like, there's a love character, and every single time you see something from this love character, it's her saying, oh, that person is so cool, I think I might love them. Oh, I just love the way this character does this. Oh, I think I might be in love with them. There's another character that's supposed to be a forgetful one and zones out. And anytime you see him, the character's just going to be looking up at the sky. Oh, look at that bird. I wonder what kind of bird that is. Oh, look at that tree. There's a tree over there. And it's just every single time these characters are on screen, they are committing 100% of the time to their fucking personality quirk, as if they're just method actors that are never breaking character, and it's just tiresome. I wish they would give them a break from just being the embodiment of whatever title they were given, because it's cool in doses and it's fun and it's entertaining and humorous sometimes, but man, oh man, does it get fucking tiresome. But that's my only real complaint. I still like those characters, I still think they're good characters, but it just becomes too much with them being the living embodiment and just saying and doing the same shit every single time. But anyway, that's the only complaint I have for the season, really. Everything else I think is remarkable. Even the music department, I think the score really complements a lot of the fight scenes and even just the hanging out scenes really well. I found that kind of jumping out to me during this, but I also have a bias to the kind of music this show has. It's just a really, really good show. It's a show that I'd recommend to anyone, not just anime fans, because I think it's just a really unique experience to seeing an animation like this in this day and age. So plugging Demon Slayer into the moist meter, I'm giving it a fat 90%. It has a lot. It is really, really nice, really great, and I really hope UFO Table comes back for a season 2 of Demon Slayer and doesn't pass it off to some trash studio like fucking JC staff who's just gonna murder it, take it out behind the barn and put it down in quality. But only time will tell if they're going to make a great season 2. For now, we have an incredible season 1 of Demon Slayer and looking forward to more. That's it. See ya.